Alright, UFC 266 just finished tonight. Well, I mean, when you're seeing this video, it'll be last night, but it's currently 1:34, so I'm recording it tonight. And honestly, my plan was to come on here and talk a little bit more about Nick Diaz and his infamous return, touch on a few other points in the card, but holy crap. That main event, fight of the year, round 3, round of the year. If you don't know already and you live under a rock and for some reason the first place you come to look for UFC news is my channel, well, shout out to you, first of all. But Ortega and Volkanovski won by unanimous decision. It was a pretty good fight, pretty dominant, except for that third round. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I would suggest looking it up. But basically, they're going back and forth. Ortega drops Volkanovski and immediately jumps on him, like I'm talking lion on gazelle, like mauls him, grabs his neck, and you think it's over, right? He's got T-City's got a hold of your neck, it's over. Or Volkanovski's scalp was going purple. Like, you could physically see it changing color, no oxygen, and he fought through it with all heart, slipped out of it somehow, and then, like a minute later, T-City does his thing and jumps a triangle choke? What? And he survived it again? I don't understand this. You have to go back and watch it, that's all I'm going to say. But this is the greatest featherweight fight. I didn't think featherweights could have this good of a fight that didn't involve Max Holloway. I'm wrong. But you need to go back and watch this fight if you haven't. This is easily the fight of the year. And beforehand, if you watch the prelims, Merab and Marlon Moraes, I thought that was going to be round of the year. Nope, Ortega and Volkanovski said, hold my beer, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I'm sure these guys are going to run it back at some point. Like, I'm not talking immediate rematch, like, you know, whatever, Max has to fight Yair, but we gotta pose this question, because this card was, you know, the Nick Diaz return card. And we'll talk about him in a sec, but are we sure that Ortega isn't a long-lost Diaz brother? You know, he's the American-Mexican fighter. He's tall and lanky. He's great on the ground. His hands are pretty decent. He bleeds super easily, and he has the heart of a champion. I mean, I don't know. The co-main event, what are we going to talk about? Guess what? Valentina Shevchenko won super dominantly. Wow, what a surprise. Wow. Like, I don't understand what they're going to do. They're going to keep feeding her these easy fights. And this is no disrespect to all the other fighters in the division, right? When they fight each other, they're great competitive fights to watch. But Valentina is just an assassin. Like, she gets pleasure from destroying these people and then dancing on their graves. She's the kind of fighter that makes no mistakes and there's no competition for her. Like, what do you do next? Obviously, the logical sense is Nunes. Nunes has to fight Pena. But, again, it's kind of tough for Valentina because she's lost 2 already, and that's not her natural weight. I don't know what you're supposed to do there, but again, I was just going to hop on here and talk about Nick Diaz. Obviously, Nick Diaz, TKO lost in the 3rd round. You know, it's tough. He had all those, like, pre-fight interviews where he kept saying he was under stress and he didn't want to be here, and you had people on one side of the spectrum saying, oh my god, like, he can't fight, he's going to get destroyed, like, this is terrible. And then you had people on the other side that were kind of like, oh, this is always Nick, you know, he's always like this. And personally, this was my first Nick Diaz fight. Like, I watched his entire career. This is my first one live. And I was super excited, and I think this kind of went how I expected to, and not at all at the same time. You know, that first round was pretty crazy. Him and Robbie were just trading, and you could tell because it was supposed to be a welterweight fight at 170. They obviously requested it like 3 days before to be changed to 185 because I guess Nick didn't want to cut the weight. I don't know. Clearly he's going through some stuff, but that's a different story. Robbie clearly looked like the better athlete. I mean, it was Nick's first fight in 6 years. And yeah, they both exchanged. I mean, that's the crazy thing with Nick. He looked like he was fighting in slow motion. Like, I'm not talking Ben Askren slow motion. Like, he just like was moving really slow, but everything was landing. He was landing like at a higher clip than Max Holloway ever did, and that was nuts. And eventually, he just kind of got his nose busted and just said, "Yeah, I'm out of here." And I was reading some stuff on Twitter after Jake Shields was saying he wanted to fight later. He only had like 6 weeks to train, and you know, managers and money got in the way. And listen, I'm not gonna comment on that because who really cares what I think? I think it's more important for him to you know, help his mental situation out, whether that's never fighting again. He said he loves coaching and teaching, like, let him do that. But ridiculous fight from those two. I mean, shout out to Robbie. It was a tough fight because nobody wanted Robbie to win, and he was getting a lot of hate, but Robbie's just one of the good guys, and it was nice to see him kind of look like Robbie Lawler again ever since, you know, T. Wood took his soul away from him all those years ago. It was incredible. And then, of course, you had the Curtis Blades, you know, doing the Curtis Blades thing, and Andrade, the two most predictable fighters who just win until they get to the title. Of course, you know, Andrade steamrolling Cynthia Calvillo. and Curtis Blades, Jairzinho Rodenstrike, just going exactly how you expected. But I was really looking forward to this card. I feel like the UFC struggles sometimes because with the whole ESPN deal, they got to put on so many events a year, and so they have fights every single weekend, and that's great, and I love that. And there's always some good ones with some people you've never even heard of. But if they even cut a few of those events and stack cards like they did this one, like they'd be blowing everyone's minds out of the water. Like, how could you have Nate or Nick? I always say Nate because Nate's been in my mind. How could you have Nick Diaz fight on this card, and afterwards people are still talking about Volkanovski or Ortega, that third round, the triangle? This was crazy, and I don't know what else to say. I mean, like I said, Merab and Marlon Moraes had a good fight. All the prelims were really good, to be honest. Even all earlier, like Roxanne Modafferi, she showed that she's tough as hell. This was a really fun night of fights. It's been a while since we had a night like this where everything was on point and nothing disappointed. I guess that's the beauty of International Fight Week. Usually it's cursed when it happens in July. Maybe they got to start doing it in September. I don't know. But that's going to be it for me today, I guess. I'm out of breath. I've been talking for way too long. I don't even know who's going to watch this video. If you're still watching it, shout out to you. I'm just rambling. GG's. We'll see you later.